My channel is under attack from the Enforcer YouTube channel. I've been having issues with this channel for the past year, and it's been unrelenting. They have filed a lawsuit. They have taken down my platforms. They have applied 4 total strikes to my YouTube channel over the past year. YouTube stepped in and took care of the other 2. But right now, I am sitting with 2 copyright strikes from the Enforcer YouTube channel, and I'm going to go through everything on this video. So here are the 2 active copyright strikes on my channel now, both manually applied by Matthew Blevins, aka Enforcer Matt, and I'm going to go through each of them in the context around them and also provide some underlying context as to why me and the Enforcer YouTube channel are having these problems. So the first copyright takedown that Enforcer Matt applied comes from their stream on September 16th, in which they say to their audience, "Your boy is going to Donbass to kill people for fun." And I re-uploaded this video in the context of him talking about me directly, and Enforcer Matt applied copyright to this. I'm going to play it with just the audio so that the way they can't copyright this video again.
We have more bots come in like that. We're going to be bringing down the hammer in a minute. Just putting that out there for the folks who are coming in here like that. We're about to be putting down the hammer on your little boy over there in a moment, who apparently is going to the Donbass right now to go kill people for fun. Probably what he's about to be doing. So just putting that out there. You don't want us to put down the hammer. It's not going to be fun for y'all. The guy's already threatened us once again today over email about calling the bar and trying to ruin our lives again. So we will go out of our way to screw this guy over because of all the crap he's done. So I would encourage you not to do that again.
Now, all I've done on their regard is criticize them openly, publicly, which is what YouTube is for. If you have a platform that's spreading misinformation, grifting, lying, manipulating, and you're on YouTube, you have every right to criticize that entity, and that's exactly what I've been doing about the Enforcer YouTube channel. So the second and most recent copyright strike, again manually applied by Matthew Blevins, was during my stream on October 2nd. It's a 2-hour and 30-minute stream, and on the 47-minute mark, I go through Andrew Blevins, aka the Enforcer, campaign ad, and I played 2 of his Republican campaign ads in which he ran for city council in Wetumpka, Alabama. I played these videos because the Enforcer's tweet was getting a lot of attention, saying, "Message to the pro-Ukraine community, steer clear of U.S. politics when supporting Ukraine." And I thought that was very odd coming from a politician, somebody that's ran for office, telling his audience, and he frequently tells them, no politics, no U.S. Internal discussions about politics in their chat. You'll actually get blocked and banned for doing so. So he goes on to say, recently there's been a major increase in popular pro-Ukraine voices trying to drag internal U.S. politics into the Ukraine situation. As you guys know, internal U.S. politics is huge to pay attention to. All right, there's constant voting on aid to Ukraine. It's getting passed, it's not getting passed, and it's important to keep up to date on this. And the Enforcer here is telling you not to pay attention to this, and it's very odd that he's doing this as a politician. So I thought it was only right during the stream to play his campaign ads. Due to the fact I do not want another copyright strike from Enforcer Matt, you're going to have to find the Enforcer's campaign ads in our Discord server. They're readily available. So here's the Enforcer YouTube channel with 160,000 subscribers. They put out daily videos about the Ukraine war and also host a live stream every single night, news aggregating and going over the latest news and events every single day. I've been having issues with this channel since last year when they accused me of copying their YouTube channel, denying it, festering drama, and letting it just become something bigger than it ever needed to be.
And so thank you so much once again. I hope that does address the comment. Thank you for correcting that, because I'm fairly certain that would be a lot more correct than mine. Also, someone said, Enforcer is upset that Starsky went on his rival's channel last night. Starsky does whatever he wants. He's been on everyone's.
Operator Starsky came on Mercado Media. I wasn't expecting it. It wasn't planned. I didn't talk to Starsky. I didn't reach out to him. He was just in my chat, and I noticed it while I was live, and then I invited him on Discord to have an interview right then and there while he was in the chat. Didn't plan it.
channel, and Starsky's a great guy, and I don't care what he does. That's his own thing. The thing that has annoyed both Matthew and me, and I can't really blame you because you haven't been with us all day every day while I do this for 60 hours a day. But the one thing that's annoyed us is that someone sent me a Discord saying, "Hey, this guy's imitated your intro card." And the intro card was the exact same as mine. It's got the little triangle in the bottom left corner that says stream starts in, and it has a minute countdown. It has music playing over it. There's an intro card that starts the stream. It's literally the exact same, like in formatting and everything. The titles used to be different. Now they include caps. And caps aren't special, but when you start to also copy my thumbnail with the exact same text font and the exact same kind of pictures, then it starts to get a little bit on the nose that it's direct imitation.
So as you guys can see, that's on October 19th, 2022, day 239 of the war. So this has been going on for almost a year straight. And that's exactly how it started. They accused me of copying them. And not only that, but they lied saying, "Oh, we weren't actually talking about you. We were talking about another YouTube channel." Because they were doing a year anniversary stream and they were trying to get a bunch of pro-Ukraine YouTubers to come on their platform. So I was exchanging messages with the enforcer, and because I didn't respond to them fast enough, which has happened multiple times now, I didn't reply fast enough. They nixed me from their show. Enforcer Andrew said, "Good talk," and give me a thumbs up in Discord, and that was that. And the reason I couldn't respond is because my grandma was in the hospital sick, and she unfortunately has passed away since then. So I was very, very busy at the time tending to my grandmother. So the next major event in the timeline with the enforcer, after they had accused me of copying them and then the failed 1-year anniversary stream, took a screen grab of one of their streams with Russian Alexander Skachkov, who was arrested in 2020 by the SBU for disseminating the Christchurch shooters manifesto in Russian. And here in this thumbnail, he's wearing a KKK patch. So I thought it was wrong that the enforcer had platformed this with a giant header saying liberation. So I had called him out on it, saying nothing says liberation like having the neo-Nazi Russian as your thumbnail. And I just went off on them, on their rhetoric and their misinformation and some of their nonsense that they do on their stream. But I had ended it with this. By the way, majority of their donations they collect on Sundays go to slush funds. Very rarely do they actually fundraise for Ukrainian destinations. So they're out for everything, but they've raised nearly 100,000 for Ukraine is horseshit. And now they will say they've raised 1.2 million without providing the receipts of that. Well, because I have the best community on the internet, in my humble opinion, I was corrected on this post for that very last bit in which I said the enforcers raise money for a slush fund from always just Putin 9930. The enforcer is very trite, repeating himself constantly, and I thank you once again, and that support, we're on to the next one, and they blah, 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 right? They had written in there in the comments. But this comment says, "Don't say slush fund unless you have proof. A slush fund is a sum of money collected to pay for an illegal activity, especially in politics or business." Now, I had taken this comment seriously because I had thought about it, and I said, yeah, slush fund probably wasn't the right word to use there, so let me go ahead and correct myself on stream.
Doesn't matter. That money's going to a fund, and I used the wrong word. I shouldn't have said slush, so I fully accept I won't use that word again. I'll try to use a different word, but that's what I wasn't trying to convey. I was trying to convey that this is what they say, or this is what they use to get out of criticism. They will throw the amount of money that they've raised for Ukraine as to get out of any criticism. And I guess that's what I should have said instead of using the word slush. So yes, I fully shouldn't have used that word in the last paragraph. But what I meant to relay was that when they raise money for Red Cross or Doctors Without Borders, who knows if that money is going to Ukraine? There's no way to know. Like it's going to a fund, and then that organization will divvy it out afterwards. Okay, so that's the only thing that I meant to say, but fully understand. Thank you for saying that I shouldn't have said slush fund. That's the wrong word to put.
After I was corrected by my own community and I went on stream and voluntarily corrected myself, the enforcer and their father, who is their lead attorney, sent me a letter for retract demand for retraction of defamatory accusations and demand to cease and desist. This was on May 24th, 2023. Mr. Mercado, please accept this communication as my representation of Mr. Andrew Blevins, aka the Enforcer, and Mr. Matthew Blevins, aka Enforcer Matt. You have recently posted certain derogatory and defamatory posts about my clients on the internet, most recently accusing them of misappropriating monies donated to charity, right? And they gave the site there. This communication shall further serve as a formal demand that you cease and desist in making any further derogatory or defamatory comments about my clients on the internet or elsewhere. Should you fail to refuse to retract the defamatory posts or make any further defamatory posts in the future, you will leave us with no recourse but to proceed with the filing of a lawsuit against you in Alabama for your wrongful conduct. I trust you will not mandate this course of action. Your cooperation and assistance is appreciated. Sincerely, Jerry Moscow Mike M. Blevins. So again, just in case you missed it, they sent me a letter for retraction after I had already retracted my statements, but it gets worse. So how could it get worse, you ask? Well, after already retracting my statements about the slush funds, after being sent a letter for retraction after I had already retracted, they go ahead and send me a lawsuit anyways, right? And on here, it says Matthew Blevins et al. Versus Andrew Mercado et al., which is weird. Doesn't even include his brother, Enforcer Andrew, in the header of the filing. Keep in mind, Enforcer Matt sent me this filing over Twitter and through email saying, hey, get in contact with our attorney. We're sending you a lawsuit. Very, very weird. Whenever you're going to file a lawsuit against another individual across state lines, you have to do it in that individual's home state. So if they were going to serve me a lawsuit, they were going to have to do it through a Minnesota federal court, and then they will have a process server come to my residence and serve me this lawsuit. None of this happened. They filed it in their own home county, maybe. Very, very fraudulent because it's for Enforcer Andrew and Matthew. But here on the headline, it just includes Enforcer Matthew. But let's get into it. Here on the cover sheet, it's for wantonness, personal injury. Okay, but in the lawsuit, they talk about defamation and all types of damages to them from me apparently lying about their platform. I will include this lawsuit in the description of the video so you guys can read it at your own leisure. The only evidence that they included for defamation, wantonness, was that screen grab of that post that I had already retracted the day prior. What were they asking for on this lawsuit? They were asking for $50,000 each. One for $50,000 for Enforcer Matt, $50,000 for Andrew Blevins, the main enforcer, totaling $100,000. These two were trying to extort from me for absolute bullshit nonsense. They still continue to try to serve me this lawsuit to this day while I am here in Kyiv, Ukraine, reporting on the latest on the ground. I went to the east, delivered aid, went to Kharkiv to interview Fumi-san. I've done a bunch in this trip on while I've been here in Ukraine, and they're still actively trying to serve me this lawsuit, even calling upon their own followers to serve me this.
And by the way, if you want to know how much smoke we've been trying to get, we were trying to get that guy process served in Ukraine, and then that didn't turn out because we couldn't get anyone to do it. But still, hey, wasn't a bad shot. We still gave it a shot, and I got to say, what's wrong with trying? And then the guy threatened he's threatened to send process servers to God, which sounds very, very civil and sane. That's something that a sane person would say, Matthew, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, oh, man. But anyways, with that, we are on to the next one.
So don't just take their words for it themselves. Here's the enforcer messaging someone that had reached out for this special LSA operation that they had advertised. So the enforcer goes, so we have a mission for you. And if you want to opt out, that is entirely up to you. There is no pressure for you to do this at all. So the enforcer goes, we have been trying to have Mercado served with legal process papers for some time, and he has been able to dodge service for several months now in America, and our process server has not been able to serve him because he is constantly evading service. And again, they say this on their stream for sympathy grifting, like for money. Like people will send them super chats like, oh, wow, he's running away from your lawsuit. He's running away from the legal process, which again, they filed it in their own home county, apparently, and they can't serve me this lawsuit in Minnesota, let alone internationally. It's against the Hague Convention. They're playing with some serious fire here. For our lawsuit to go forward, he has to be served the lawsuit by a third party in person, and that person has to sign an affidavit confirming that service has been rendered. Because he is in Ukraine right now, he feels really comfortable and thinks he is safe, which means it would be very easy for you to catch him and hand him the papers. It would be fairly easy as well because we have been able to track down the building he is in and what floor he is on, and it would only be a matter of getting to his room or waiting outside. All you would have to do is say, "Are you Andrew Mercado?" If he says yes or no, you say, "Here is legal notice of a lawsuit. This constitutes service," and try to hand it to him. If he doesn't want to grab it, you can just drop it on the floor and walk away. As long as you are physically there with the lawsuit and tell him that it's a process service, that's all that matters. Once again, if you don't want to do this, I understand, but it would be a great help to us and finally get the lawsuit moving forward. I can't say this enough. If you don't feel comfortable doing this, you can decline. It will probably be very tense, or you may just not want to do it. Either way, I'll understand your decision. So then they go on to say, we can send you a PDF of the lawsuit. All you would have to do is print it out, staple it together, and then hand the lawsuit to him. Also, we couldn't find him here because he would hide in his apartment and the process server could never get into the complex. No official seal is needed either. It just has to be a physical copy of the lawsuit. So this is like every night on their live stream, they will say, "I'm running from the legal process. They're trying to serve me legal paperwork. They're doing it here in Ukraine, trying to," and they even went as far to say that I ran through the airport last time, which is just absolutely insane. But they do this repeatedly on their streams, and then people that watch their streams will send them super chat money like, "Oh, we feel bad for this, and you're fighting this legal fight," and it's just nonsense. There's no legal fight happening. It's a fake lawsuit that their dad, Jerry Blevins, signed back in June, and they're still using this as like a tool to harass me on their streams. So if you're asking, Andrew, what have you done to try to de-escalate the situation? Well, recently, you can find it 3 weeks ago before I had left for Ukraine from Talon, we had sponsored a drone for the Enforcer YouTube channel because they had promised a drone to the 231st Brigade and the Ukrainian military, and they lied and took all the money, and the drone never made it to Ukraine.
Much once again for the support, and I thank you so much for chipping into the drone fund. It's not my intent at all, because we were going to keep this quiet until after the drone had been delivered. It's not my intent at all to try and start drumming up a drone fund, because, you know, of course, how the channel works is that if you want to support Ukraine, Sunday fundraisers are the way to go. If you want to support the channel, it's through a super chat. But considering that we are going to get them a drone, and y'all are throwing in support to help us to keep this thing running, and in the end, hopefully help to get them a drone, which we will be doing, I've got to thank y'all so much for doing that and helping us out in that regard, because that is really exceptionally kind of you. And I got to thank you so much for chipping in as well. So that way, hopefully we can have a Lee Spring Army Mavic doing, of course, just a little bit of a gander around the front lines. And so with that, I hope that does address that fairly well. Thank you so much once again for the support, Ivan. And with that, we are on to the next.
Up next, we have a $7 super chat from Ben, who says, "While I love the idea of purchasing a drone for a Ukrainian unit, I think there could be a better way to spend the money, because the average drone only survives a handful of missions. Go LSA and Zach."
And thank you for the support. We still got to get them a drone, though, because they want one. And we're not going to turn them down for that. I'm not going to be like, "Hey, man, like, I know y'all want that drone badly, and that's what y'all been asking for, but instead, we're going to give you some bandages." I'm not going to do that to it, because they're going to be like, "What the hell, man? Like, we need a drone." But still, I do understand what you're saying, but I think it will probably survive over there. Maybe. It's got the blessing of the Lee Spring Army on it. How in the world could it fail? So with that, thank you so much once again for the support. I hope that does address that fairly well. And with that, we're on to the... Anyways, with that, thank you so much once again for support, Dupper Bob. I hope that does address that fairly well, and hopefully that drone video will be out soon. I actually got told a little bit of additional information about the drone. The drone will end up being used as an artillery spotter. It will not be the kind of drones that you see flying around and dropping bomblets on folks, because they actually told me today those are largely being phased out by their unit, and they're now switching over to FPV kamikaze drones for that, or drone bombers, which are the larger drones that have a bomb rack cradle under them that just drops bomblets like it's carpet bombing pretty much. So this one will actually just be used to fly around and find Russian positions and then report the coordinates, and then the artillery is brought in on them. So our drone will probably end up having a fairly decent life in Ukraine. Funnily enough, it may actually survive several weeks before it ends up being destroyed. Now it is finally on the way, and hopefully it'll make it all the way there. I'm just kind of scared, to be honest, if some of the middlemen that are going to be involved may or may not deliver that package. That's the only thing I'm concerned about, because they are smaller, like pop-up companies that have pretty much come about to transport stuff across the Ukrainian border, and pop-up overnight businesses like that, you know, there's a little bit of questionability as to the reliability of that. But the 231st said they've used them multiple times and they've never taken anything out of their allotments that they were supposed to be getting. So we're assuming that they're trustworthy. Hopefully they are, and hopefully it makes it all the way there. And also another thing I never expected until today, which was a massive slap in the face, and I want to tell you all of this if you all ever plan on sending anything to Ukraine, is that postage from Ukraine to the to Poland is incredibly expensive. I don't know if it's because a large amount of stuff is ending up being shipped to Poland because of the war, and so space is limited and therefore the price is rising. I don't really know what it is in that regard, but sending something through DHL as the price per pound is incredibly expensive. It is unbelievably expensive. It is nearly a quarter value of the drone we bought. The drone was $2,000. The shipping was nearly $500. So if y'all ever plan on sending anything from the United States to Ukraine, make sure to try and find the smallest box possible to ship it in, and also make sure to try and shave the weight off as best as you can. Of course, don't go and pull out a knife and start literally shaving away at the Mavic drone or anything if you're sending one of those, but try and figure out how to make it lighter, because the heavier it is, the more expensive it costs. And 8 pounds was $500. So use that metric from here forward. And if you're sending anything, make sure to keep that in mind. The postage is going to be unbelievably expensive.
So then, after about 60 days, their community's wondering, where is this drone? And every time their community asks them, they get blocked in the chat, to the point where they came out with this excuse.
Well, it's truly impossible. We actually found that out when we tried. We ended up spending $500 on DHL postage, and the drone never made it. It got lost. That's why no one ever heard an update. It was supposed to come back here, and then it got lost halfway around. According to the 231st Battalion, the third-party guy said that they got it, but then the third-party guy never got it because DHL told us it was coming back here. It never arrived. It just never did. So that's a story in its own right. I would make sure to go through, instead of losing out on $2,500, which is what we lost in the postage and the drone, and just having it disappear into the nether, I would highly suggest finding someone very trustworthy that already does that as their thing, and then have them do it. Because we went through and we sunk $2,500 down the drain and never even got the drone to them. And the third party guy apparently was telling them something that wasn't even true, because DHL said they never received it. They said they called the number and nobody even picked up. And then the third party guy said he had it. And then, yeah, it was a nightmare. But anyways.
So then time passes, because I'm literally handing off their drone that they promised. And I emailed Enforcer Matt and I told him, this is going to be the peace deal. I'm going to deliver a drone and the beef is going to be over, and that's that. And you can claim it. And they didn't want to the point to where they denied even doing a drone fundraiser or collecting money for the drone.
I'm going to make this quite clear, and we will show these clips if we have to. Once again, those are flat out lies. We did not fundraise for a drone. I said I was going to buy a drone, encouraged y'all not to send in super chats because it was not a fundraiser, but people liked the idea nevertheless, and then sent in super chats saying that was going towards the drone fund. But we made it clear each time that it was not a fundraiser. We made that clear multiple times. I had Miss Disa and me go through and comb the streams to find the exact parts where I said that, and we found all of them. So just putting that out there, that is once again a flat out lie by that community. But with that, we're on to the next one.
And the enforcer get that more time than I would have given it, because it's not even worth addressing. But anyways, moving on to our next live.
Not even worth addressing. Their own community was asking where the drone was, right, for months, to the point where they were coming into my Discord and joining my community because they were getting upset about it. So that was the peace deal. I gave the Ukrainian military a drone. It was all on the orc hunters, right? We all for it, but I just said like one of them was for the enforcer. All right, there's your drone. Take credit for it. Let's be done and move on. And they had no interest in doing so. This channel is a lying, grifting, manipulative platform that begs for super chats for hours with the Ukrainian map on their screen, blocks and bans people that criticizes them. Other platforms, you're going to get hit with the lawsuit, copyright strikes, community guideline strikes, platform Twitter takedowns. This is what they do. This is not a pro-Ukraine channel. This is a channel that is entirely for themselves. They live in a mansion. They have a elevator in their house. Their house is on YouTube. It has a YouTube channel for how big it is. It's got a fountain in the driveway. It's insane, right? But yet they beg for super chats every single night just to keep the lights running. All in all, I really hope that the Ukraine community, YouTube community takes attention of this, as I have these 2 copyright strikes on my channel. If you don't support Ukraine, or if you're not in tune with the Ukraine war, at least understand that they are attacking my YouTube channel for criticism that is fair use and fair to do. And to the pro-Ukraine community, those that say, well, they are pro-Ukraine, they aren't grifters, I'm going to leave you with this.
And also, I just want to say, in case you are curious, the super chat money, it does help fund our legal education, by the way. That's primarily what it helps fund, is our schooling. So it's going to a good cause, by the way, on our end. Obviously, on Sundays, we run our fundraisers for Ukraine. But at least we don't use the super chat funds to go take, vacations to foreign countries, buy new computers, gaming computers that are fully rigged out and stuff like that. We put it toward good use and good things. So we really do appreciate all the support from y'all and helping to keep us running.
That last little bit there was I upgraded my PC at home. They call my trips to Ukraine a vacation, and I'm begging the YouTube community, the pro-Ukraine community, to call these 2 out, help share this video, leave a comment below, and get the word out. Thank you so much for spending time and listening to this video. Have a good day.